What's up, party people? Welcome back to another episode of Party XP. I'm Jeff, joined by my stuffy friend Lakan. Say hi, Lakan.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm dying.
So, don't worry. I have something that will lift your spirits, that'll make you feel nice and bubbly inside, and hopefully make you a little less stuffy.
Okay, good. I'm going to lie down while you're giving me this pitch, okay?
Yeah, right. Like, do it like Mariah Carey, how she does all her interviews on like that futon thing.
Oh yeah, the super luscious futon. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's me right now. I wish.
Well, actually, funny enough, speaking of Mariah Carey and female singers in general, I have a pitch for you. From basically the biggest open secret in my life is that as a guy who is a manly man, I'm big. Big rough guy into sports, into fighting games, into violence and all that stuff. I am absolutely obsessed with this certain female singer character game series.
Okay.
And I've been obsessed with this since 2016. And I don't think it's something that you've ever played, which is surprising because it's a rhythm series. It's kind of like this digital influencer person.
Oh, I know where we're going. Okay.
And but you've never played any of them. So look on.
Okay.
You're digging in to the Hatsune Miku Project Diva series.
Okay. Yep, there you go.
Because it's something. Yeah, I got back into it again recently. I started playing the mobile game, which you'll dive into here. And then I also have 2 of the mainline series games for you.
Okay.
So
yeah, sure.
you're going to. What's that?
No, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, because I've played a little bit of the phone game. A coworker of mine is. I assumed it was just like mobile games, and I'm sure there's like console games and stuff. I just never got into any of this stuff.
There are. So, the Project Diva series started on the PSP all the way back in 2009. I didn't actually jump into the series until 2016. So my first experience with Hatsune Miku was working at GameStop, and the trailer for Project Diva X was on the PS4. And I'm like, yo, what is this?
Okay.
And it's like, I'm not into like a lot of the other like pop princesses that are out there these days. Most of the music that I listen to is pretty heavy, and it's especially when I go work out, like I'm into the heavy stuff. So to be able to kind of dial it back with this character has been a lot of fun for me, and it's that feel good kind of music, right? Just to kind of have like, I guess it's the appeal of like a Taylor Swift, a Selena Gomez, like when Miley Cyrus was doing her thing back in the day, and even now, I guess. But just to have that charismatic female singer in your life, I guess that's the appeal to it, and I definitely see it with Hatsune Miku. I know somebody who enjoys like VTubers and like those digital influencer types. I figured you'd appreciate this stuff.
I messed with the game a little, like the phone game a little bit, and some of the VTubers that I watch have played her tablet, the mobile game. Like I played on a tablet or a phone on stream. So I've seen a little bit of this game. Reminds me a little bit of like a D4DJ is another like phone, rhythm mobile game. But yeah, like I always see these, and like the mechanics are always slightly different, and the spin's always a little bit, kind of cool how they make these games different from each other. So I'm sure there's something here that can kind of grab me.
So for those of you who may not have played the games and you don't really know what's going on here, so Hatsune Miku is that blue-haired chick that's everywhere, the blue-haired anime girl that's everywhere that sings.
The really long twin tails, yeah.
Yeah, with the pigtails and the white dress and all of that. So Sega has been putting out these games for a while now, and I actually kind of had this like come to Jesus moment when you and Buffo were talking about Jet Set Radio Future, and it's like, Sega only puts out Sonic games, and it's like, well, not exactly. There's another blue character that gets a lot of shine from Sega.
Yeah, okay.
So the gist of the Hatsune Miku games is they're all rhythm games. The mainline series games, for the most part, follow the same formula. You utilize the 4 face buttons, which on the PlayStation would be square, triangle, X, and circle. And then there are other sorts of mechanics that you'll utilize either the shoulder buttons and the control sticks for. And then not only that, like, so you have like the base rhythm game, and then there's also a kind of slice of life portion to the games where you can dress the characters up in different outfits. You can interact with them. You can see how they interact with each other.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's really like a
cute.
big part of the mobile game. Because there are so many more characters in the mobile game versus the with the handful of Vocaloids in the main series games. The mobile game introduces a ton of human characters that are transported into the Vocaloid digital world.
Gotcha.
And so not only do you get new sounds, right, you get new voices, but you get new characters that can interact with each other and all of that. So it really creates like a pretty cool kind of slice of life enjoyment. I know there are people that really get into the performance aspect of things. They like to dress Miku and the Vocaloids up. They set up the stage designs. There are certain modes that reward you for doing that. That's not really my thing. Part of me, because I'm a little self-conscious, I don't want to seem like a pervert and dressing up these little anime girls in different outfits.
Embrace it, it, Jeff.
But also just because like I'm there for the music and the gameplay. Like I'm not really there for all the other slice of life crap. Like honest to God, I skip the story for the most part in a lot of the games. It's just like get me to the music, get me to the game. But I know that's a big deal for a lot of people. You might find that you enjoy that.
Yeah. Because like again, like some of the other rhythm games that I played that have not been Project Miku specific, Hatsune Miku specifically. There's like D4DJ has something similar where like you got to roll for like a bunch of like girl characters to be in the band, and then like you get boosts and bonuses for whichever one you have in the group or kind of thing. And,
so that's basically how the mobile game works.
Okay, cool.
There's the gachapon mechanic. Luckily, they start you with like the full slate of Vocaloids, I feel like, but if you want to play as the other characters, you can.
Okay, cool.
One of my big gripes with the mobile game is kind of needing to gacha roll, but we'll get into that once you play the game and get into it a little more. But I want to start you with the mobile game. So the mobile game is called Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage. That released in 2021 worldwide. That plays a little differently than the main series game. So this is obviously with a touchscreen. The game plays a little bit different. Basically, the notes travel down a path, kind of like Guitar Hero. How like the notes kind of come towards you, and you tap on the screen.
Yeah, this is similar to like how D4DJ plays. Okay, I've definitely played something similar to this. Okay,
right. Whereas the two main series games I'm going to have you play, just because they're different enough, but you'll still be able to get the gist of them pretty quickly. Project Diva X came out in 2016, and that's the PS4 game. And then, of course, Project Diva MegaMix came out for Steam in 2022, and that's the other game that you'll be playing because I own it, so you can play it for free. And basically just kind of see how you like them.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I feel like it's kind of up your alley. Our history of mobile games has been well documented here. Not mobile games. Our history of rhythm games has been well documented here. So for there to be a rhythm game, especially a popular rhythm game that you haven't played, is a little bit surprising to me. But I think you'll enjoy it. I think it'll take some getting used to, especially in the beginning. Playing the main series games, the face buttons and obviously like there's no track. The track basically is the entire screen, so the symbols will kind of fly around the screen, and it might be a little jarring at first, especially when you're trying to watch the music video in the background too. But over time you kind of get used to it, and you'll dig right in. I have no doubts that you'll be able to figure it out, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, yeah, I'm down to give this a shot. Again, I'm a weeb. like I'm
right.
Yeah, this is just one of the Vocaloids is like one of the things I guess I never really fell down the rabbit hole of. So I mean, like I know of stuff, so I'm sure that this game is good. And if you like it, then I'm always down to give it a shot, because you don't exactly have a bad taste in rhythm games. So
thanks.
You're pretty well read in like the space. So okay, cool. I'm down to give this a shot.
Awesome. So I have to wait a couple of weeks to hear how Lakan likes Hatsune Miku, but listeners, you only have a few seconds. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
See you in a bit.
All right, it's been a little while, but we are back. Lakan is home after a stint in Vegas. How'd that go?
Pretty good. I was only there for unfortunately for like a day and a half. Basically, I was there for a wedding. I think I told you. I don't know if I mentioned it to the listeners here, but it was a good time. Ate good food. Went to a place called Truffles and Bacon, which I was expecting something really fancy because if I hear truffles, I'm thinking fancy. But it was like Filipino soul food, and I was like, yo, yo. But vacation calories don't count, so it's fine. That's how I lie to myself. But it was really good. Really dry out there. Really screwed me up a little bit. I was chugging water like nobody's business, and I couldn't get rid of the unquenchable thirst that I had.
Right.
I sound desperate saying that, but
I was gonna say, like, what's new?
I'm so alone. But yeah, it was cool. I got to see some friends I haven't seen in a while. My friend got married out there. Congratulations to them. I'm definitely gonna go back out there at some point and actually spend more than like a day and a half there. Just schedule wise, it was the only thing that was available to me at the time. To fly out there and still make it back to work on time, basically. So I really didn't get to do a whole lot, but it was a good time while I was there. I got to do a couple things, but like again, I was mostly there to show my support for my friends getting married. So that was a good time. And it actually worked out perfectly for the game we're talking about this week. So we should probably get right into it then.
Yeah. So I tasked you with 3 different Hatsune Miku games. How did that go? Where do you want to start?
Let's start off. Actually, we'll start off with the colorful stage one then, because that's actually the one that was perfect for the at least I have a thing to point out right off the bat in regards to me trying to play this, since I was on the go anyway, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
Project Miku Colorful Stage is the phone game that you assigned to me. And so this style of rhythm game is already pretty familiar to me. Like the top-down style is how Rock Band, DJ Hero, Guitar Hero, Beat Mania, D4 DJ is very similar because it's also like a anime rhythm game, right? Demo, if anyone remembers Demo from like the OG Android store before it was like the Google Play Store, right? That's very similar to all these other style of rhythm games, top to down, press the button or touch the screen when the note hits the bar, right? So this one, what is it? It's like 6 visual novels, right? Essentially in the game.
Basically.
Yeah. And I started off with a 4-girl band that breaks up over time, then gets back together, throughout the story kind of thing. Like there's like, they kind of fell apart, everyone's kind of sad about it. And when I tried playing this over the weekend trip to Vegas, I was actually really annoyed that I needed to be online to play it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest gripe that I had. And like, I thought like I should have been fine because I turned it on when I was at the airport before I got on the plane. So like, I should theoretically have all of the downloaded extra data, right? Like the extra songs or the dialogue or whatever files they need me to add on. I should have been fine. I got onto the plane, airplane mode is on, because I'm a good law-abiding citizen, right? And it just would not start. And I was getting really, really annoyed because this should have been the perfect, like, pick it up, play a couple songs, and go back to sleep on the plane or whatever, right? It wasn't. It actually pissed me off pretty hard because of that. But yeah, I just couldn't play on the plane. But that being said, like when I had a couple minutes of downtime between like my friends picking me up from the airport, or I didn't want to bust out the Steam Deck, which I also brought with me, also perfect for on the go. I will talk about that later as well too. This was really good for me to just like bang out like 2-3 songs and kind of go back about my day, right?
Right.
The songs are good. Again, I don't know a whole lot of Miku songs or Vocaloid songs in general, I guess, but there's a couple I recognize, and a lot of them are shared between throughout all the games, basically, right?
Right.
This was actually really fun because again, very similar to D4 DJ. That's the other phone anime music game that I play. Actually, now I think about it, I don't know if that one's also available online either, or offline. I mean, but yeah, it's really good to play on the go. And then you mentioned it before, where it's like it's a typical Japanese influence of mobile game. So there's a lot of gacha going on, right?
Oh yeah,
login bonuses, daily streak bonuses, bonuses just for opening the app, I guess, right? And that being said, that actually was nice because you get a lot of the gacha currency. It does specify if it's free or not. Like you get free ones, and then there's one you pay for. But
correct,
you get to roll a good amount. Like I was able to get a couple characters. I don't know. I didn't know what they did because I honestly didn't get that far into it. Like I know it just levels up the characters individually, but you also level up your band individually, I guess.
If it makes you feel better, I don't even know what like the other versions of these characters do for you. So
okay, yeah,
don't worry about it.
There we go. So I mean, like, because I know D4 DJ does a little bit of it where you match like the energy type of the character, right, or their costume or whatever, and gives you bonuses throughout the playing the game. I guess, gives you a higher score and shit.
It might. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to get really, really deep into that stuff, you can. If you don't care, then who cares? You just play the game, kind of like what you and me essentially do. But it did also get annoying when I did have to open it, and then I would have to see 3 or 4 screens before I even get to like the home screen.
Oh yeah. If you don't log in for a while, because then you get the returning bonuses, and then you get the seasonal bonus, and then there's a story event, and then there's some other new thing.
Yeah, and like it's just that's just my issue, I think, with phone games in general, right? Like for the phone games that I do have on my phone, a lot of them are paid, so I don't have to see all of the hardcore monetization stuff. There is stuff there, but I don't have to see it, all the time because they don't push it as aggressively. Because like I have like Dead Cells, like Symphony of the Night, right? Those are just like, oh no, here's the game, you're done. And if you want to buy DLC, here you go. It's just kind of here on the side of the screen.
They made their money.
Yeah, exactly.
And you bought it,
but you do get a lot of the currency for like buy. And a big thing that I always really appreciate for games like this is like you can buy songs you specifically want to play. Like that. That is a big thing for me because I like. Again, I don't have anything against Miku. I'm just not the most informed Miku person. Like I just don't know a whole lot about Miku. I don't know a lot about the music, the Vocaloid scene in general, right? The most I know actually about the Vocaloid scene is because I listen to utaite, which is like is a Japanese, I think it's a term or a like subgenre of like voice actors or singers essentially that cover Vocaloid songs. That's like my side of like what I know about Vocaloid stuff. And that being said, I was able to buy a couple songs like that were done by the voice actors in the game. Oh, that's another thing, dude. Every story in the game is voice acted too. Like every character.
And they all have like legit voice actors.
Yeah, kind of a really cool thing to see, in a gacha mobile game where you just assume, oh, it's gonna be some cheap money grab. But no, just a lot of like love went to this game, which is really cool.
Definitely not. Like these Japanese, well, think about it. It's sometimes difficult for a lot of countries outside of Japan and the US to get consoles. But what does everybody have? Everybody has a cell phone.
Exactly.
So you see a lot of like the Southeast and Eastern Asian countries, South American countries play games on their phone. So of course, you can put more into a mobile game and people will get into it. And then they invest their money into the paid currency and, you have a successful game.
Yeah, very big. It was really, really cool to see that. Again, I got like 5 stages into that 4-girl band visual novel, basically.
Right.
And it's like it's just not for me. I'm not a big visual novel guy in the first place, right? Or not anymore anyway. Because
I was gonna say, yes, you are. What the fuck?
I used to be. I used to be more into it, but like now I just realize I don't like reading.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah. That explains that pretty quickly. But it's cool that it's there for people who do care about like having a bit of a story, especially something to help move the game along, right?
Right.
But even like the pop songs are covered, right? There's a couple that are some of them cover the Vocaloid track, which is again like the utaite, like it's the kind of thing that I'm into, and then like the voice actors also cover like other Japanese pop songs. Like I bought a cover of an Ado. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Ado song, a Yaosobi cover, and a Goodbye Declaration cover, which I'm pretty sure that one's a Vocaloid cover, and then something else I recognize from anime. So they're covered by the performers that they hired to voice act in this game, which is cool because you get to see again, like if you're connecting with them story wise, and you recognize the voice actors' voices, you get to hear them singing the songs that you also recognize as well, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Relating a little bit back to like the whole mobile game thing you mentioned earlier. So energy, right? That's a big thing in a lot of mobile games.
Yep.
I appreciate that energy rolls over as well too. Like if you don't, it's like, so again, like example, I logged in and I got extras, right? And or doing a daily challenge of like just finishing a song and getting a score on it or whatever. You get more for doing it. Mm-hmm. So I logged in a couple days after, leaving some surplus energy over like the 17 max I had. So I got the bonus. And I ended up having more energy after playing a couple songs when I closed the game. Like I already had like 21, and then I closed the game at 24. So it's like it's really generous, which is good because again, obviously it's like you don't being limited to gameplay is annoying, right? For a mobile game. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that it's pretty generous, and I'm sure the point of these games too as well. It's like make you spend more time on the game, make you gain some free currency, and then hopefully gets you to spend a couple bucks to buy the premium currency to buy even more stuff. You know, so it makes sense. I understand why. I get it. That's the monetization. But as annoying as it was in the beginning, you know, when you open the app, playing the game itself is pretty like, yeah, go ahead, do whatever the hell you want, which is really nice. Because again, I hate like being limited to how many times can I play this before the game just tells me no more unless you pay something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's good. Again, it's very similar to D4DJ. That's like the closest one that I've ever played to it, I guess. D4DJ does more pop stuff and like actual singer stuff versus this one having majority Vocaloid stuff, right? And then a couple like actual singer covers. Yeah, of course, because the focus is Miku here. This one's just gonna stay on my phone now. Like it's just perfectly fine for me to keep on my phone, just because I don't want to bust out the Steam Deck for something, or I don't want to, you know, I want to play a specific song that I already have on this game that I don't have on the other game. You know what I mean? Of course, there's different collabs too that go on, so you know it's nice to have a wide variety of songs just in general available on my phone for me to play. But yeah, it's a cool thing. I'm not gonna hardcore compare the two. They're both just good games for me to enjoy playing.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So what about, I imagine the next game you've played the most is probably the one on PC, right? MegaMix?
Yes, because it was, again, also easier for me to take on the go because I have a Steam Deck. So that's actually the one that I started off with. So now we're going to roll back a little bit, I guess, to the beginning of me going into this, you know, whole Hatsune Miku rabbit hole. Minimal start time, goes right into the tutorial, and you start right away, which is great. Also, it's the, what's it called? Eleven Polka? Whatever it's called?
Yeah, 11 Polka.
11 Polka, yeah. So I was like, oh, sweet. I recognize the song right off the bat. It took me a minute to actually understand how to read the beat map. Is that the term? Beat map, I guess? Is it
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Because things move onto the screen into where they're supposed to, I guess, when you're supposed to make contact with them, right? And then you also have like the little like second hand arm to like time it, and once it hits the top, that's when you're supposed to press the button. Took me a minute to really get comfortable with the inputs and how to read the screen. Because, you know, again, like most of the songs that most of the rhythm games that I play are top down, you know, kind of Tetris style, right? Or, you know, rock band style, guitar or so, whatever you want to call it. So this one took me a little bit longer to actually like get comfortable reading the screen. I usually play rhythm games. Like I you know, we both play rhythm games. So like I start off usually on like normal just to see how it feels. And then I realized I would only like clear songs with like C's or like 60 to 70% score. And I questioned my own rhythm game ability because of it. I was like, am I bad at this? And another friend of mine who's a hardcore Miku fan and rhythm game fan in general, he's like, no, these games are just very strict. So I was like, okay, so I can't be lazy and, you know, kind of just like, you know, kind of just press willy-nilly. I have to actually like, you know, make sure I'm pressing at the right time. And I also spent time calibrating my computer monitor and my Steam Deck to make sure that, you know, I'm hitting stuff on time. Oh, I remember you mentioned it before, but you said every song had a background music video or like something's happening in the background. Yeah, every song literally has a background music video, and it's really, but again, because I'm not used to this type of gameplay, it was hard for me to actually see what the hell's happening.
Yes,
you know, actually to get to enjoy the music video while playing the game. But you know, it's cool to have it there. And that being said, like now that I've heard the song, and if I hear one that's catchy, I just go on YouTube and find it. You know, which is like a nice little way to expand my my music, you know, listening stuff. Played a little bit on the Steam Deck. I was curious if there was a touchscreen mode because, you know, Steam Deck.
Right. Was there? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, because like, you know, I play Osu, right? That's the other like big rhythm game that a lot of people think of.
Right.
So, or like the touch rhythm game cabinets that you're a very big fan of, right? No, it does not do that because it doesn't accept a single keystroke, or screen touch. You have to press the button in regards to the direction. So there's that. But there is something close to it with Project Diva X. We'll get to it in a minute, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But so no touchscreen mode, no like touch rhythm game cabinet style, just doesn't play that way at all. And I kind of saw like something too that like one like the thing I noticed, which leads into Project Diva X, was that on normal difficulty it tends to like favor down and right inputs to keep it simple, right? Like it's only like two directions or so, and then an occasional stick flick, right, or shoulder button to go into the little sliding ones.
Right.
But and then the higher the difficulty, it incorporates more buttons and, you know, more kind of like, I guess, like awkward button combos, right, to make you kind of like think of what the hell you're actually supposed to be doing. But it's cool. It's a good way to scale the game, you know, because you're like, because especially because some of these songs I recognize, right, like some of, like, again, I'm not a big Miku guy, but I recognize some of these, and I'm like, oh, I know how the rhythm goes with this, or at least how Miku sings.
Right.
And you know, on like the higher difficulties, you're playing along exactly to what Miku sings or whatever whichever Vocaloid sings. So it's like, okay, I know some of these rhythms. I need to learn how to hit the buttons in the right direction. So even on the easier difficulties, obviously I'm only pressing down and right for the most part. I tried pushing like, you know, hard or expert and further, and that's when it became like the button combinations became more complicated. So that's a good way, I think, my opinion anyway, to increase the difficulty. Because like, do you remember playing like beginner Rock Band or beginner Guitar Hero?
Vaguely.
Do you remember how like easy those tracks were? Because like it'd be like one note per measure basically.
Right.
And you kind of like feel that way you for sure you don't feel like you're playing the song, right? You just
exactly.
This one feels closer because even in the easier difficulties, you're still kind of pressing most of the notes, you know, lining up with the singer of the song. And yeah, I think that's what
I always thought of that with like DDR too. Remember, like when with beginner DDR, you just randomly like step on a left arrow every once in a while.
It's usually just like you know, fours. Like all you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, right? No subdivisions, no like none of the notes in between the downbeats. Again, I understand why, but it's also like if you hear a rhythm of a song, you kind of and you recognize like,
you want to dance along.
Exactly, you want to move along with it instead of just kind of like being like a human metronome to it. You don't get as like engrossed in the game because of it. Again, I understand why they're doing it, but you know, it's just like I think this is a better way to do so, where it's still a little bit more action, right? Of course, when you bring it down to the super easy one, it really, really takes it down. But like normal, you're already kind of playing a rhythm with the singer, and even more so with the higher difficulties.
Yeah, I honestly kind of enjoy playing on the higher difficulties more because I can just follow along to the song. And if I know how the song goes, then I know how the beat map's going to go, right?
Yeah, it's perfect for it.
All right. So there was that. And then the last one was the PS4 game, Project Diva X. So how'd that go?
So same tutorial, same intro, right, as the MegaMix, basically, right? But there was an extra mechanic there where you press both the D-pad and the phase buttons in the same direction, like the corresponding one. So that I was like, I actually was questioning like which one came out first, kind of thing. Because
X came out first.
Yeah, and then when I found that out, I was like, oh, they took away a mechanic in the Project Diva MegaMix. I was like, that's kind of weird, right? You would think that they would always just expand more, right? But
right. It could have been a functionality thing. It could have been just like a gameplay flow thing if people didn't like enjoy doing it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's fine. It kind of felt like I'm leveling up again because now I have more stuff to do again, right?
Right.
But a nice thing, a cool thing with this one is that you can use the touchpad to do the directional slides.
Yes.
Because playing on PS4, you know, the touchpad's there. Games rarely use it. I didn't really use it for it, but it was kind of cool to have it as an option. You know what I mean? Instead of like having my fingers come down to the analog sticks, right? Because I tended to do everything with my thumbs, even though I got a burp. Instead of using the shoulder buttons, I was playing a mix of everything with this on the keyboard, on the phone. So like my thumbs were kind of just like, you know, to me like, oh no, that's just going to be used. You know what I mean? I'm sure obviously playing higher difficulty songs, you want to use as many appendages as possible. But, you know, for me, it was just like, no, I'll just use my thumbs for everything. Like, it was kind of nice to have the touchpad there, and it registers with like barely touching the touchpad if I want to go left or right with my, you know, with whichever thumb kind of thing. The hard part is trying to do multiple in the same direction, because obviously you're right. Like if you want to go right, I have to reach into like the middle of the touchpad with my right thumb and stretch for it, and then swipe right to actually register it to read. This one took me back a little bit in terms of like gameplay, because this reminded me a lot of like Rock Band, Guitar Hero, where like you only have like 4 songs to play in the beginning, and you have to spend your time unlocking them. That was like the thing that kind of annoyed me with this one. Again, I understand it's a gameplay thing. It's get people to invest more time in the game, you know, get more life out of the game too, right? But I was like, from going from Project Diva MegaMix and the phone game, which, you know, has a good chunk of the songs unlocked, right? To being limited to like 1 song, then 2, then 4, and then, you know, so on and so forth, right? For every other level. It was like, ooh, this is like, I have to play the same song multiple times. Once on easy, then once on normal to unlock the costumes, right? To have the little stat
Mm-hmm.
increases and the gameplay mechanic buffs, like like you hit more buttons in your what's it called, like the showcase time or whatever they're calling it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. You have to make sure that you hit every note perfectly and all that.
To unlock a new
And it could be a
costume.
challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Like a challenge. It's like a challenge section essentially. And it was just like, okay, I played the song like twice now, once on easy, once on normal. Next song, do the same thing. And it got a little repetitive, right? And again, there's some more visual novel stuff going on in this one. And again, it's fine for people who want it there. It's good to have it there. For me, for the most part, I was kind of just playing along and hoping to unlock more songs so I can just play the game. Because I was also curious to see if there was any differences. Ended up asking said friend again, who's also a big Miku fan, what's the difference? And he said, MegaMix is basically everything. Like all the songs are there. They just took away that one mechanic. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, got it. So once I learned that, I mean, sure, I wanted to see the cool, the cool and cute costumes, right?
Right.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing, right? Miku is like kind of like it's weird to say, right? She's like a fashion icon.
Yes.
But but yeah, there's a big thing. Like they're always playing with her design, and you see the cool costumes. You get to wear cute bunny ears. You know what I mean, and all this other like like you get to mix and match like accessories and stuff. It's that's again like some lighthearted, fun gameplay to have in the game, and it also does like in-game stat stuff, right? Especially because I'm assuming I assumed this game had like a leaderboard or some sort. And
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of
connection
boards for it,
online. And essentially it's like, I'm assuming that's probably what you need to like maximize and minimize your maximize your scores and stuff like that. But I mean, for the most part, I was kind of just here to play. And again, I just felt kind of bummed out when I saw the free play mode and only had the songs that I had already played like / cleared, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Again, I wanted to unlock more and see more of the cool costumes and stuff, but it's just like I could just play MegaMix and just have all the songs there, right?
Right. Okay.
And just customization in MegaMix too. But of course, it's like the neuron activation, right? The lizard brain activation of like, oh, I get new stuff now because I did the challenge section. That's the part that's fun when you play games like this with a lot of customization stuff. But you don't get that in at least I didn't notice it at least in MegaMix Plus. I'm sure.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot less. There's a lot less of the customization there in MegaMix because X is the one that focuses mostly on like the slice of life stuff. Like I mentioned, like you have the room. Did you spend a lot of time doing that? I don't think so, right?
A little bit, because I was like, I might as well like just get at least try a little bit of everything, right? So I did the friendship meter stuff, right? To try to increase your friendship with everybody a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, very visual novel-esque, right? I know the mechanics. Give Miku some ramen, and she's like, "Oh, okay, sure, I guess." But you give her something cute, and she's like, "Oh, sweet, thank you." She's very happy about that.
Exactly.
So I messed a little bit with everything, customization stuff. Again, it's fun to have it there, especially for people who are bigger fans of Miku than I am. Especially if you're really invested, yeah, sure, go for it, right? But then I was like, man, trying to increase this friendship meter is really taking a long time.
Right. So, yeah, without like having the guide up to be like, oh, okay, so you give this character this and they like it, and you give this character that. Right. I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, it was like, I think that's on me for going in, I guess, in that order, right? Because I went from having basically everything at my fingertips to nothing and having to unlock everything all over again.
Exactly. Yeah. So like my mindset was this. So for me, I had the natural progression, right? So I played X first. Then I played, the phone game, and then I played MegaMix, right? So for me, I got everything as intended. When I gave these to you, the main things that I was interested in, because MegaMix had everything, right? It was just like all the songs in one place, right?
Yeah.
So that was that. That was for you to experience the game and play the rhythm game portion of it. The other ones, yes, Colorful Stage gave you a different play style, but it was mostly for those ancillary story-driven sorts of mechanics, right? The visual novels, the room function in X, right? So that was kind of the reasoning for giving you that, was that there were different things to do outside of the game, plus, some different gameplay elements in the other two games, but it was mostly because so much of this game is about that slice of life aspect of things.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd be remiss if I just gave you MegaMix and then you missed out on all of that other stuff. But I get it because, obviously, and that was one of the questions I had about X. Did you feel that X kind of aged a little bit? I mean, I don't remember. I'm about to look right now. But
Yeah,
it's been a while
yeah,
since Project Diva X has been
yeah.
out.
I guess I'll answer that while you look that up. But I think that style of unlocking and progression is an age style, right?
Yeah.
Because like it felt like Guitar Hero Rock Band.
2016, by the way.
Okay, so it's not, so it's like it's old,
7 years old. I mean, it's
years,
almost a decade old. Like,
yeah.
it's,
So and that type of gameplay was definitely already on its way out, right, at the time.
Yeah.
Because like I remember like
Yep.
Rock Band was starting to like in Guitar Hero were like dying around like 2014, right? I want to say maybe even 2013. There was people who were starting to
Right.
flood it a little bit, right? I mean, our crew still played it, but the different thing is more like is a way for us to hang out and play stuff together, right? But this is like a solely single player experience. So it's like there's nothing but you and your commitments to the game to unlock all the stuff that way.
Right,
You know what I mean? Versus playing with your friends and like, oh sweet, we got a new track. Let's play again or keep playing more. So I mean, I understand why they did it. Again, it felt a little bit aged, right? But I understand why they did it. But yeah, it did feel a little bit older in comparison to other rhythm games. Now again, like playing Osu is like I can pick whatever song I want, right? I can go online to like to Osu's the Osu beat map website and just download one that somebody made. You know what I mean? Like right away and just start playing it. With the phone game having a good chunk of the tracks, like a majority of the tracks already unlocked, or MegaMix again with basically everything unlocked. It's like I can just go and just pick up, play, not have to worry about having to lock anything, and just play the game and get a good time that way.
Got it. Yeah. No, I mean it makes sense. And like I'm looking at the song list at X now, and I'm like, wow, that's it.
Yeah, and I
30 songs. That's crazy.
I did the same thing. And the things with the 30 songs, like again, the game does incentivize you to play the song multiple times, right? On the easy mode, the normal mode, and then when you do that, you unlock the harder difficulties, right?
Right,
and
right,
again,
right.
You do every song multiple times for the challenge section, so you can unlock more costumes. So theoretically, right? What is it? It's Miku, the twins, right?
Yeah, the pink-haired Luca, the pink-haired girl.
Yep, Luca, and then the blue-haired guy, right?
Right, and then the brown-haired girl with the boobs.
Yes. Yeah.
Mako.
Threw me off for a second. But again, you're incentivized to play those songs multiple times because each character, right? Four difficulties, right? I think there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, four difficulties each, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so no, the twins count as one technically, but so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters to play as essentially, and then times that by 4, times that by every song.
Right.
So that's where you get your replay value from, and again, you play songs over and over again to also get the gifts to give to the other characters to increase your friendship meter with them. So like I understand that's where a lot of the gameplay goes to, and kind of where the main hook I guess is, right? Again, the hook here is to do all of the slice of life stuff essentially, along with doing all the songs. Obviously, the rhythm game is supposed to be the main focus, but the side stuff is what keeps you coming back because you get more stuff for doing it. You get rewarded for playing the song over again. Again, for me, I think it was more just like I just wanted to put down experience where I just have everything at my fingertips.
Right. Okay.
But again, I got decently far in Diva X until like again I figured my friend told me that they have the same set list essentially, and MegaMix has more because there was like 2 other variations of Project Diva, right? I think it was because one came out.
I mean, there's been a ton of games.
Or one came out on PS Vita, I mean, and then I think another one came out on PS4, like Project Diva 2, essentially.
Well, no, X came out on both of those systems. The older games came out on PSP.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
from what I gather. Yeah.
Okay, so there, yeah. So that's where the extra songs come into play with MegaMix, which again makes sense. MegaMix, it's kind of like having DDR Max and DDR Max 2, right?
Right.
It's a collection of more of the songs from the previous games. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So again, like I was cool with it. Again, I was just like. One other thing that I thought is when I was playing, with my time with these games is like, what got you into this rabbit hole of Hatsune Miku again?
Like I said, it was seeing my love for rhythm games and then seeing it on the PS4 thing, and I was just like, yo, okay, so this is what Hatsune Miku is? I thought it was just like a little anime girl. I didn't know it was like a whole musical. First of all, I didn't know it was like the whole Vocaloid thing. So like people made music with her. And then the other thing was like I didn't know it was a rhythm game. So then I finally played the rhythm game, and like I don't know, the songs are cool. Like the songs are nice, like they're whimsical, little fun, little anime girl songs, right?
Yeah.
Like you just kind of lean in, and a lot of it too is just like the difference, you know, the dichotomy between me and this, right? It's
Yeah.
also really funny. So like,
That's what the thing is. I'm kind of, I guess, trying to get at, I guess, without being, you know, too upfront about it. Was like, you know, you being like this big sports guy and loving, you know, pro wrestling and big manly men slapping each other and shit. Being and then I just get when you mentioned your love for Miku, like, you know, many years ago to me, like, you know, kind of like offhand. Because,
right.
you know, I feel like you could say it to me because I'm a weeb, right? You very comfortably say it around because, like, you know, in your vision, I'm more of a degenerate than you are anyway. So you could just like let this little Miku sliver out, and I will not judge you.
Right. Yeah, basically. But also, like, you like the VTubers. So like it felt very similar in that regard, where you have like this figure who is like an anime character adjacent
virtual
kind of
idol,
person.
basically. That's basically what it is. So
right. And it's also like, you know, we play DDR all the time, so like it was okay that it's like basically it's a whole game's worth of butterfly, right? I'm a little butterfly.
Yeah, these little cutesy Japanese songs. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. So basically, it's like a full game of that, and you can kind of like let your guard down. Like everybody likes the butterfly song when you play DDR, right?
Yeah.
So like it's basically a full game of that. So I'm like that's kind of the way that I've looked at it. It's like, well, it's basically all the funny songs that, you know, we would sing, like all the girly songs that you'd sing or you'd play in DDR and Rock Band and all of that.
Yeah, I like
you know, hit me with your best shot and all that.
Yeah, we definitely did, like, you know, Barbie Girl a lot, like in karaoke. You know what I mean? Like that, like
exactly.
the same kind of energy. Yeah, I get
exactly.
you.
It's the same kind of energy. And then again, like, it's just funny that people are going to look at this list and they're going to see Doom and Doom Eternal and Hatsune Miku, and the same guy recommended all three of those games.
Yeah, right.
It's just really funny. Like I can lean into the comedy in this. It is funny, but I like the games. They're fun. They're fun rhythm games in a world where rhythm games aren't as abundant anymore.
Yeah.
And to play them, you know, you have to go to the arcade for the real experience. To have you know, the ability to just play this on the computer or play it on a Steam Deck or play it on a cell phone,
and more diverse experiences too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to just have the ability to play like these arcade style games at home is really fun. Like, it's still like, I have two white whales, right? So it's the Miku arcade game and it's Dragon Ball Heroes, like the two arcade games that I need to play in person. Like, eventually, I don't know if, when, or how. Like, I know they're only in Japan or like in like California.
Yeah, I get you. Okay,
but like those are the two kind of like grails that I want to play.
You just buy the machine. That's all it comes down to eventually, right?
You know, I've been looking for a Dragon Ball Heroes machine for a very long time.
I'm sure, dude. I remember recently. What was the one with like the 4x4 panel, the touch panel game that you really like? The one we played at 8 on the break.
Oh, DJ Max.
Yeah. So I remember seeing one of those arcade machines go up on eBay recently, and I'm just like, there's got to be someone who made like a homemade version of this, right? There's got to be. And, you know, I see like all these custom keyboard controllers for it. I'm like, yeah, it's just like, again, it's a very specific, very niche gaming experience you can only really get with the arcade machine, right? Because obviously you're not looking at the screen. The buttons themselves are screens, and that's how it also tells you which ones to press and all this other stuff, right? It's a very, very specific experience you really can't get or emulate very, very hyper closely, right? I'm sure you can make it. You know, people have done so already, right? That's kind of how Osu became a thing, because it feels that, you know, Osu feels kind of similar to a lot of those games, right? But, you know, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, you're right. Like, you have to like go out of your way to an arcade that actually has them, you know, and regularly keeps it, like, you know, maintained so it's not broken from the kids smashing on the buttons all the time.
Right. And I mean, there's only so much an iPad and stereo headphones can get you when it comes to those touchscreen arcade experiences, right? So there are like touchscreen rhythm games that you can play on iPad, but it's not, I mean, to have like that big screen and to be able to touch and have the different levels of sensitivity, right?
Like the tactile feel.
Right. And not even that, just to, if I tap this it's going to register that I hit the note properly, rather than on like an iPad, which might not be so sensitive because it's a general use item.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. That
So
makes
that's
sense.
kind of the thing. And like you said, like there's no way to replicate that. But it is nice when some like there's a DJ Max on PC, like DJ Max Respect I bought,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So like I have that. I have Miku. So like you can get to the point where you're almost there, and that's kind of how like I play the games too, is like I put like all the arcade settings on. I didn't play it with like the cell shaded graphics and things like that. I played it as close to the arcade as I could get, because I don't know, man, for me that's just like it's a comfort thing. Like I like arcades. I like playing games on like the like an arcade stick, or playing with like the arcade controllers. It just feels right to me. I don't know, like playing on a controller is playing on a controller. You play at home and all that, but like certain games, like I can't play shooters on a controller anymore. I have to play it on a fight stick. Beat 'em ups, I prefer playing on fight stick when I can.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. Yeah, I'm with you, especially now that I'm back on fight sticks, right? Because I was a controller player for a while. Yeah, it's a feel thing. It's a bit of nostalgia, right? Of like a time when we were kids and we just had all the, a little bit of free time. I had $1 a quarters and I can make that travel real far, right? You know, like I have I guess we're kind of going off topic here now. Or kind of like I'm gonna just go ahead and nostalgia rant here. But I remember like going to Menlo Park Mall as a kid, right? My mom would leave me and Gabe at the arcade, and with like $5, which is like back then was massive to you as a kid with no money, right? You put into the machine, the change machine, and they had tokens because they're rat bastards and wouldn't give me quarters,
right? Exactly,
because they want you to spend your money there specifically only. Which sucks because then I couldn't buy a drink.
Exactly.
I was like, I had no money. I only had a $5, and I was like, I'm a kid, so I was scared to ask all the older high schooler kids, hey, can I get 5 singles? You know what I mean? So I can buy a soda from the vending machine outside. But you go there, you line up for Time Crisis, right? That's another thing. Yeah, that's another big machine too, right? The time having the pedal, you know what I mean, to step on.
Oh God, light gun games are the best.
Which Gabe actually has a pedal that works on the PS1 like that. It's great. And
I do remember you guys had that.
It's a big nostalgia thing, right? It's like, I remember like my mom would go, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to the mall for like, she's gonna do her shopping because she doesn't want us running around the clothing store and hiding in the clothes racks because that you're a kid, you're bored, so you try to find any way to distract yourself, right? Me and my brother would do that all the time.
Exactly.
But those memories of me being in the arcade, like playing like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game, or the arcade game, right, or the Simpsons one, House of the Dead. Again, that's how I got my first experience to like beat Mania, like the one where you swipe your hand over and under the sensor, right? You remember that one?
Yep.
DDR, obviously. These were like big experiences for me as a kid. So like trying to get anything like that back, now, especially even though now we're adults, we have money, it's like, arcades are like kind of like slowly disappearing, right? Though at least the ones that we used to have around here.
Right. So it's funny. So they're going away, but also they're coming back.
Yeah,
at the same time.
In more like, I guess, like focused, I guess, in terms of like what the games are, I guess, that are inside of them.
Right. It doesn't feel, I don't know how to say it. The days of the dingy arcade, not dingy, but you know what I mean? The days of the hole in the wall arcade with a couple of machines that the best of the best players in the area would go to and, compete against each other, or, like the top DDR players would show up and play. That seems to be like a different sort of era, like a bygone era. These are now more like more casual. Think like a Yestercades, and like I have one up here by me called Marcade. Those you pay for the hour, right?
Yeah, and play whatever you want.
You have
free,
all the machines,
basically,
right? But there's no competitive edge to it. There's no feeling that you're going to go there and you might cross paths with somebody that's really good at this. It's mostly just, people are out for a nice night and, you want to relive some games that you played as a kid a little bit.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like that, again,
definitely not.
I love getting that nostalgia feel. I love going to RES arcades with like a friend who doesn't have one near them, right? Or like a barcade near them. So, I did I ever tell you the story of like me not understanding what the quarter on the fighting machine meant?
Yeah. We've talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah, so I don't think I've ever told the listeners, right? So listen, story time. Again, this time I'm maybe a little older. I'm in like middle school, maybe, right? Same thing. We were like Menlo Park Mall, and the big game around that time. I remember Jeff had like started explaining to me like these games, right? Because I played Tekken, but the arcade only had like one Tekken machine, but they had multiple 2D fighters, like, you know, Marvel Super Heroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. What's the like the SNK games, right? They had them there at Menlo Park Mall. Looking back at it now, they had a pretty good selection of like 2D fighter games.
It's funny though, because they didn't have. I don't think they didn't have any of the Capcom versus SNK games, but they had some of the other fighters. The one that I remember vividly was Soul Calibur 2.
Yes,
I remember it being Soul Calibur 2 right next to Marvel 2.
Yes, yeah. So I didn't understand what the token on the screen means,
right?
So because I just saw people doing it, and so like. I remember just like putting the coin on the little corner of the screen and there's like walking away.
You thought you were giving like a donation to like,
I thought it was like, oh, here, play some more.
Or something.
Like, here, play some more. You know what I mean? Like, you're really good at this game. You should go ahead and keep playing. Like, I just walked away, just like I was like, you know, my mom came to pick me and Gabe up. We just like left. So
they're looking for you. Like, where'd that kid go?
Yeah,
he's next.
Like just disappeared long into the night, and like little they know, I could have been the next, you know, the next master of Street Fighter or something.
No shit. Yeah. No, I remember how daunting that was too. I remember it on both sides. So how nervous I was to put my little coin up there. And then the guys that would have like the trading cards, or like this one guy had like a guitar pick that he would put up there. So like there's the daunting aspect of putting your coin while people are playing. And then there's the aspect of while you're playing and you're trying to fight your opponent, and people are putting the coins on the thing while you're playing.
Yeah, trying to focus.
And like you see somebody that you know, it's like, oh shit, he's good. and then you're back in the game, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So God, like those moments, like I feel bad, and it, you know, like we got here because of the Miku is an arcade game, right? And like the next step for me, like if I have more room, would be to get like the Miku arcade controller. They do sell them. People do make them.
Okay. Cool.
And it is pretty cool. Like it is actually a really cool machine. Think of it. Okay. Remember way back in Internet 1.0 days on eBaum's World, right?
Okay.
You had that Japanese guy playing the piano game, and it had all those like bubble buttons, and it was like
yeah.
So basically those are the buttons that
let me look this
the Miku
up.
controller has, and it's square, X, triangle, circle. You have like a touch, the rip pad for the swipe motions, right? And then I think depending on the game, there's other different buttons that you can use to interact with the game.
Oh yeah, I see one right here. Like I see a video here that's literally just the ultimate controller for Project Diva. So, yeah. So the 4 colored buttons, which are the face buttons, right? And then a touch bar. Oh, that's sick! A touch bar. That makes so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sick. Well, because that replicates the arcade machines, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's what you're
So you don't have like a right bumper and a left bumper to do the swipe motion. So you have to actually swipe it on the swipe bar.
Oh, there's an official controller for the Switch too.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, you dock your Switch onto it, like into the Type C. Oh, that makes so much sense, actually. Like, that actually makes a lot more sense now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
It's pretty sweet. And now you can see why I want to play this game.
Yeah. Like, it's very
like
different
in
for
person.
me. Yeah, very different for me using WASD and the arrow keys or plugging a controller into the PC, right? Obviously.
Right.
And then playing it with a controller on the Steam Deck. And then even more so, now playing a completely different game with a touchscreen. Okay, yeah, that's sick. That'd be really cool to have.
Yeah. Man, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the arcade machinery, man.
Yeah, it's a feel thing. You know what I mean? Again, there's a reason why you and me use fight sticks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, initially I was actually like so against fight sticks. I was like, it's so big, you have to lug it around if you want to go to your friend's house. And then now it's like, no, I will go through the hassle of loading this brick, this cinder block into my car to go to my friend's place to play some Street Fighter, or like, you know, or Unist or DBZ Fighters or whatever. And, you know, but like, because we couldn't get that experience back when we were younger. They were making custom sticks that were, you know, compatible with every console back in the day.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like if you had a fight stick, you had it for Xbox, you had it for PS2, you had it for whatever, right?
Yeah.
So now, thankfully, everything's USB, and you know they have converters. I mean, we'll see how the next generation of consumer unfriendly practices go, because you've noticed Microsoft is like, no more third-party peripherals, under the guise of, hey, we're going to make it easier for you to use what you have already. Just bullshit.
Yeah,
but that's another conversation for another day.
Well, one positive thing about that, just before we shelve that one anyway, I heard the one thing that I actually saw them mention, at least I guess not in that main article, that I know that everyone, you know, if you guys haven't seen it, like look it up. Xbox basically said they're shutting down third party like controllers. They're shutting that. It's a quicker way for them to shut down the Zim mouse and keyboard converters. So you know how like they people can play mouse and keyboard on consoles, but trick the console into thinking they're playing on a mouse and on a controller still.
Right.
Yeah. So because that's it's cheating, right? Because especially if you're playing ranked and you have mouse and keyboard with aim assist.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense. It's a way for them to shut that down. Again, unfortunately, you know, now that like, you know, I think they're still gonna with like Power A, right? Because they're partnered with them, right? But like, you know, any of those other non, you know, partnered controllers, they're basically shutting down. You know, it sucks. It's like obviously not everyone wants to dish out the $80 for a Xbox controller.
No. I mean, it's still like $60, but still, like, you know, you don't like. I don't want to have to buy a fight stick just for Xbox.
Yes, absolutely. Because like I use the Magic NS converter to play on like PS5, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and I don't think it works on the Xbox Series because of it. It's kind of like it's annoying because they have their own protocol and all this. I understand why they're trying to do it, but like it sucks to have to buy a secondary fight stick just to play it on whatever console my friend has it on.
Right. If you want, and especially because the only game that you really need an Xbox fight stick for at all was always Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
So like you have to spend all this money for one thing that might not even be your main game. It sucks.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But
yeah,
it is what it is. It's neither here nor there, I guess. Anything else about Miku? I mean, what songs did you kind of gravitate towards? Did you have any kind of favorite songs?
I forgot the name. I should have actually wrote the names of the songs down, but there were
definitely. You probably should.
Yeah, there were definitely. I know. Sorry, I'm prepared. Okay. There was definitely a song that I recognized. So there was one song. Who's the pink-haired one?
Luca.
Yeah. So she had a song with her in a casino. And it's kind of like an electro swing kind of jam, like, you know,
sure.
like it's like, you know, it's like a jazz, it's like an upbeat jazz, you know, techno song essentially.
Okay.
Or not techno, you know, electric, you know, jazz band basically. It's very big. The character, because, you know, so like that's another. Oh, that actually. One other thing, I guess, then, because, you know, all the characters have different styles of them, right? Like Luca is like more of like a mature, right, kind of designed character, right? She's a little more curvy, right. She's a little more busty, and like the voice tone is deeper. So like you realize their music videos also like align with them as a character. Right, so her songs, like they make the character model move a little more sexy, right? You know, a little more like, you know, kind of like more like versus Miku being like the more, I guess, the typical Japanese idol you would think of, having this really bubbly, you know, pop tune with her jumping around and doing these really cute motions on stage, right? And then the twins, obviously, they're younger as well. They do matching movements, but on opposite side of the stage, kind of thing. So it's cool to have, you know, again. So I watch VTubers. We've already discussed this many times before. The VTubers, obviously, you know, the big appeal for me is seeing and hearing their personalities either line up or not line up with their character design, right? And there's a real person behind there, so that's like a major distinction, right? But with like Miku and all these other Vocaloid characters, it's a little bit different because obviously like there's a person, I mean, of course there's a person operating in motion capture and doing all this other stuff, right? But like, you know, it is like meant to be like there's a personality to the character, and it's nice to see that, and that they have that kind of travel through, you know, video games and dance videos and, you know, and live performances, right? I remember because I got you got me playing this game, I went down like a little mini rabbit hole looking up like Miku like live performances.
The mobile game has live performances too.
Oh,
like you
yeah,
have to log on. Yeah, you got to log on at a certain point to watch the live performance if you want to see it. Otherwise, like you have to, I think you have to pay gems to watch it again. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, something. I actually ended up seeing one because I saw it said live, and I was like, I was wondering what it meant. Like I was like, do you mean like I get to watch people competing or something? You know what I mean? Or like do like a head to head and see who scores more? And then I just like the game. Oh yeah, I guess we talk about that real quick before we even try wrapping up again, but. So it's kind of it's a really cool feature. Like I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this before. So you press live, the game switches over to first person view.
Yeah, it's almost like a VR, like you're wearing a VR headset.
Yeah, and you have like almost essentially like a touch controller on the screen, and you move like forward, back, left, and right with your left thumb, and then you turn the screen or use your gyro controls, like your phone's accelerometer to turn the screen around. And then you could just watch a concert like in game. Really cool feature.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
And like I went in there and like I was like, okay, wonder what this is thing. And then I'm there with like 20 other people at the front of the stage doing the little like they have like pre-chosen like emotes, I guess, that match with each individual character.
Yep.
Or little chibis of your favorite Vocaloid character. And I was like, oh, this is cute. This is adorable. And I ended up sitting there for like, I don't know, like maybe 10 minutes, just like watching like 2 or 3 different songs go by. I was like, this is fun. I was literally in my hotel room, like trying not to keep the volume too high to bother my 2 friends who were like trying to sleep. And I'm over here like jamming after this Vocaloid concert on my phone screen.
Yeah, you get into it. Like I remember the one I watched. It was like Miku's birthday or Miku's anniversary or something like that.
Gosh, yeah. So
and I'm sitting there like jamming in like on the couch, and my wife's just sitting there, and I'm trying not to like raise suspicion because I don't want to tell her what I'm watching.
Oh, she'll judge you. She'll
right.
judge you.
But at the same time, I'm like, yo, this is awesome.
Again, it's the dichotomy that I'm laughing at. It's like, again, you big.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Big burly manly man. And again, also me. I guess same thing for me. It's like a big angry looking Asian dude, and then us like getting all giddy over these cute little anime avatars, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
It's hilarious.
It's just fun. It's just harmless fun. That's all it is. But yeah, it was a really cool feature. I was kind of glad that I noticed it when I did, because like the show was like ending, after those like 3 or 4 songs that I watched. So I got to actually see something, get to see them doing little dialogues and stuff like that. It was fun. It was actually like a tiny mini concert, and get to watch in the first person, like which also made me curious. I was like, I wonder if there's like a VR version of this. Like
there is. There's Project Diva VR.
Is there? Okay, because I was thinking like, because I don't have a VR set, so like I think it'd be like a cool thing to like at least try at one point. You know what I mean? Maybe down the line. But yeah, it was really cool. Like, again, like nice little feature that didn't need to be there, but I'm really glad it was there, because it was, again, it's cute, it's fun.
Yep.
And especially if you're a fan of like the Vocaloid stuff, like why not give the if they're treating their fans really well. Like when I think of it, like I don't think any other game that I've played has anything similar to this. Like maybe Fuser, right? Because that had like the live thing. Like remember?
Right. Yeah, you could watch it, but like, I'm not getting to watch like a virtual representation of like Whitney Houston singing or whatever, right?
I'm not watching like DJ Tiesto actually up there mixing, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Right, exactly.
It's just like, oh no, like it's just a random dude,
somebody's goofy Epic Games avatar.
Yeah, and the mix is fun, but but it's not like I don't have this like attachment because I'm not a fan of this random, of like I slept with your mom 69XX, whatever. Dropping the beat with the fucking the Wellerman song.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was your song.
That's so fun. It was so good in Fuser. I love it. You got listeners, go back to watch. Give us more plays in the Fuser episode. That was a really, really fun one for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was for me again. Like this was a fun little dive. Again, I was wanted to like pick your brain on like how this whole thing happened in the first place, and again,
right.
It's fun. That's kind of all it is. It's like it's harmless fun. It's cute. It's like good music. Again, like I said before, like Colorful Stage is definitely staying on my phone. Like it's so good to just have it. Again, I already have D4 DJ on my phone, which is just another very similar song, similar game to it. It just has different songs, so it's just good to have a wider library available to me at all times.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah.
How do you think, last question from me, how do you think it stacks up to other rhythm games? As far as the actual rhythm game component, not counting the slice of life and all the other stuff, because I would say most of the other rhythm games on the planet don't have a little visual novel slice of life accompaniment. It's mostly just game start, go pick a song and play.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, hey, here's your next venue. Oh, hey, you got really popular in this one. Here's your bigger venue. Here's more songs for you to play. It's like,
oh yeah. Right. Your band is on the road. Oh, here's Satan.
Yeah, and
you got a Guitar Hero.
By the way, they want you to do an encore, and so you have to pick one of like 5. Again, fairly popular songs, which is cool. It's more songs.
Nope, just kidding. Here's Max 300. You have to pass it.
So, energy-wise, this feels a lot lighter, right? Because obviously, again, like Rock Band, Guitar Hero, they talk about the more like the dingy growing up part of a band, right? You know what I mean? Like you're playing like dive bars and all this other shit, right? And it's just kind of like it feels shitty until you become big and make it to an arena, right?
Yeah.
This game. But all of these games are much okay, sure. Colorful Stage and has a bit of like some kind of little bit sad stories with the visual novel stuff. But I mean, again, it's there for you. There's a story to actually make you kind of get invested in some of the characters. And again, helps that they're all voice acted. Full voice acting in that game. Great, love it. Please have more voice acting in phone games.
And they have names and like unique designs.
Yeah,
it's not just like the singer from the Guitar Hero band.
No, there's like personalities to them. You know what I mean? Again, like, and again, does it feel weird for other people? Not for you and me, because clearly, again, we like stuff of like this, right? Where like we kind of accept them as like a character. We get attached to them because they have a story that can reach us in some way, and it keeps you invested in the game and makes you want to play more and want to hear more of what's happening, as if it was like a real life thing playing out. Oh, so I guess here's my annoyance, right? With the Diva X, right? Because that did feel a little bit aged, right? Because versus MegaMix, where I have, again, everything's just unlocked, which is great because I can just play the game and play as much as I want and not have to worry about having to unlock more stuff or whatever, and just I have everything at my fingertips. And then Colorful Stage, where sure, not everything's unlocked, but there's a reason for me to play more and more and more of it because it unlocks more stuff and I get to get more invested into the story. Diva X is like a lighter version of Colorful Stage in terms of like obviously the expansion of the story, because the songs are not as much and they require you to play multiple songs multiple times to get the full experience. So that can get a little bit repetitive when the track listing is not as deep. But if it was kind of like, how Rock Band, Guitar Hero, specifically 2 of both of the games where the set list is massive, you know what I mean? I think like it would feel better because just the fact that I don't feel as constricted or limited by the number of songs that I have, and the fact that I have to play the same songs over and over again to expand my library.
Right. Although, Colorful Stage still has you unlocking songs.
Yes.
At least there's a lot to start off with. And there's like the songs that you're, for like a lot of like the Miku fans, like Tell Your World is there from the start. Like a lot of like the songs that you're there for are unlocked from the start. A lot of the songs that you have to unlock are, like ancillary songs that people might enjoy, or they might be like new songs that are coming out. So you want to unlock them to play the new song and things like that. With Diva X, it was just kind of like, here you go. Here's your starter song. Have fun.
I think that was partially a mistake on my part for doing MegaMix first. I probably should have realized that X was before MegaMix.
I probably should have told you that. But
yeah.
Like I said, I gave you kind of my idea here, where MegaMix was where the game was played. X is where yeah, the game was played, but also here's all the other stuff that Megamix doesn't have in it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Very, very fair.
Did you answer the question? How does it stack up, you think?
Oh, how does it stack up to into other music games?
As far as a rhythm game, how does it stack up to other rhythm games that you've played?
Are we talking specifically Diva X, or are we talking about all of it in general?
Hatsune Miku.
So at least these experiences, the Project Diva style games, right? They're different. They're definitely different because the way the game interfaces, it is nice to have like an actual music video happening, right? Because especially it helps you draw you in as a fan. It's very, very cool. It's very cool if you're kind of just getting you're dipping your toes into it. I think it's probably one of the more I would initially say like basic, but the interface is really cool, right? Because they come in from different directions and kind of confuse you. It's kind of part of part of the game, right? Learning how to read the beat map is a big deal, right? In these games, because it is not the traditional rhythm game, the top down rhythm game. I think if I knew more about Vocaloid songs, or if they had more just in general Japanese like pop songs that like, because I listen to a lot of J-pop, right?
Right.
And you know, anime openings, bands, J-rock. If it had more of that stuff, not just Vocaloid stuff, I think this would be like one of my top games in general for rhythm games. Like this style is really fun because it does feel so different in comparison to the other ones. Like I'm not knocking the old style, because obviously that style, the top down still has its own place. Is that this just feels very unique in terms of like the experience of trying to get everybody into rhythm games and also trying to get people into being like a Miku fan. You know what I mean? It's a very different experience. I think it holds up very, very well because it is unique versus like, oh, okay, sure. You have the rock bands that you grew up in, like, you know, love, right? But this is, if you're a Miku fan, this is also, you know, this is your shit, right? And it's different. It doesn't play exactly the same. It doesn't play because, you know, that was the whole point. The competition between Rock Band and Guitar Hero, and what was the other one? Like fucking like Rocksmith or some shit.
Well, Rocksmith was like the real one. I know Rock Revolution. That's what it was.
There we go. Yeah, and those were, if you want to boil it down, they were the same game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This actually feels different. Again, I said before, like I wanted to see if it felt like OC, if I could do the touchscreen mode, because I'm curious to see if this does play anything like anything else, and it really doesn't. Like I want to say the closest other game that I played for this was like DJ Max Respect.
Yeah, DJ Max.
Yes, but even then, that's a top down. But it has the extra inputs that this game has. So like, you know, again, even then that still follows that same old style gameplay with some extra buttons. This one is different, extra buttons, and you get full music videos to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's just that, like, if it just had more songs variety outside of just Vocaloid stuff, I think it would be more easily accessible for a lot of other people. But yeah, very, very good. I think it has its own flavor to this game. It doesn't compare in the way that those other games all feel like a knockoff of each other. This genuinely feels like its own game.
Good. So I'm glad. It sounds like you enjoyed it, right? It sounds like you had a good time with it, right? Like, yeah. I'm not wrong there. Cool. So that's all I had. Anything else on your end?
No, that's it from me. Listeners, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we got to like we just like went on like a big nostalgia trip in the middle of this episode.
I mean, it all kind of makes sense. It's all arcadey.
Yeah,
it's all arcade related.
But you know, that's again, it's also just fun for us to just shoot the shit on, you know, like rhythm games, right? That we don't really get the chance to talk about in general. So that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that little tangent there. So
yeah,
hopefully, yeah. So if you guys like this episode, if you guys leave us a like, leave us a rating, share us with a friend, we'd really appreciate it. Again, we're on all the audio streaming platforms. You guys heard this spiel from me multiple times before at this point. Really appreciate the support. Oh, you're saying something?
Yeah, we're also on YouTube. I streamed Five Nights at Freddy's the other day, just randomly for Halloween. So that doesn't have that lot of views. So go watch it. Go make my suffering worth it.
And we will also. Do we want to talk about this part? We will be putting the episodes up on YouTube soon. We're
eventually.
We're in the process of doing so.
Shame on me. It's my fault. I need to start putting them up there.
Life's busy. We get it. You're a dad. Yeah. You're a dad. But we're gonna have them on YouTube as well for, you know, because I know, like, you know, listeners, we know not everyone has a paid subscription to all the audio platforms. YouTube's free. We get it. So, you know, put it up there. Again, more reach is always good. Again, we appreciate you guys for supporting us. We appreciate the listens we've been getting on the last couple of episodes. Thank you guys very much for tuning in for those ones. And we hope to see you guys in the next episode.
See you later.
there's a fucking Walter White mod. I see one with Walter White as Hatsune Miku, and then Jesse as like another character that they're singing on stage with. Oh, this is funny.
You're looking at the community content page?
Yeah, I'm just scrolled down from Hatsune Miku and things.
Did you see The World Is Mine?
With her
holding the rifle?
the AK.